Hi, my name is Kaylin, and I've spent the last 9 years intentionally improving the quality of my life, and today I'd like to share with you how I've been able to do that. I've been able to improve a lot of different parts of my life using the process of personal development. Personal development can best be described as activities that we can engage in to help us level up our skills, potential, and overall quality of our life. So, this can be broken down into about 6 categories, or broadly 6 different categories. Those 6 categories are physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, social, and financial. I know that can sound a little bit overwhelming, but please trust me when I say that even making minor adjustments to a few or all of these categories in your life can have really, really big payoffs and really, really big benefits within even 4 months. So let's break down what those categories entail. Let's start off with talking about our physical quality of life. When we're addressing our physical quality of life, it covers things like exercise, nutrition, amount and quality of sleep, and also personal care or personal hygiene. So some things that we can do to improve our physical quality of life, starting out very, very small. We can stretch in the morning, warm up our bodies, really get a good flow and movement going in our bodies. You would not believe how much that actually really helps jumpstart your day. You can set a meal plan. You don't have to meal prep, just have a meal plan for the day or for the week. You can track your quality of sleep. I do it using my Garmin. If you don't have a smartwatch, then you can just start by setting a bedtime and a wake up time. Have an alarm that tells you it's time to go to bed, as well as an alarm that says it's time to get up. That will help you stay on track with keeping yourself well rested within the rest that your body needs. And as far as self-care and personal hygiene, for me, that looks like getting my nails done every other week. That can be a lot different for everybody, whatever it is to you that makes you feel good and nourished and cared for, like you're giving your body that little bit of extra attention. That's what you can incorporate in that category. Okay, let's talk about mental quality. So mental quality, this is going to cover our mindset and cognitive function. So how can we improve on a little level our mindset and cognitive function? Well, reading for me has been a big help with this. I read about 3 or 4 books every single month. I know that sounds like a lot, but fortunately I have a job where I can listen to a lot of things on audiobook, and that is how I eat through so many books. So, I know that it's different for everybody, but reading has really been a big help. Really keeping your mind sharp and engaged. Anything that's going to challenge your mind is going to be helpful in this category. Puzzles, mind games, games that are meant to improve your brain is what I mean by that. And also things like meditation, journaling, even just having self-awareness of where you are mentally and how you can better yourself or what needs work. I would also highly recommend therapy if that's something that you're open to, because that's really going to take you to that next level of mental quality of life, is discussing the things that are just a little more challenging that maybe we might need somebody else's help with. Okay, so moving right along to emotional quality of life. This is different than our mental quality of life. So emotional quality of life is a little bit more on the spectrum of being able to express, process, and manage our emotions. Emotions can be very complex, and everybody handles them a little bit different. So I think the first step with emotional quality of life is to really evaluate, how do I normally express my emotions? How comfortable am I expressing my emotions? And really changing your mindset around how that can look. Getting a handle on our emotional state of mind can be so incredibly freeing, because it allows us to really take control and get in the driver's seat and be responsive to things instead of being reactive to things. And we can start asking questions like, why am I having these emotions to begin with? And that can help us really get to the root of a lot of the things that are going on inside our head that we might not have even asked ourselves about before. In this category, we can also work on being a lot more empathetic to other people, trying to be more understanding towards the other people and loved ones that we have in our lives, and also incorporating being mindful into that as well. Having a mindfulness practice and just being more mindful in general is going to really help us regulate our emotional state of being. Okay, so for improving our social quality of life, this is more along the lines of how we interact with the people around us and how we can have a healthier social state of being, a healthier way to interact with those around us. This has a lot to do with communication skills and social comfort. I know for a long time I very much struggled with social comfort and expression in public, so I have had to really work on my communication skills a lot, and a big part of that is active listening. Taking time to really be an active listener and taking extra time to really form thoughts before I try to express them verbally. And I know that that can be really hard, especially if you're used to your mind working very, very fast, and sometimes we have thoughts that happen faster than our mouths can get them out. And I empathize to that a lot because it's something that I have struggled with, and that is one way that we can really improve this category. I think along with that is being able to gain a little bit of confidence. The more we work on social interactions, the more confident we're going to feel in social interactions and be able to be more perceptive to other people as well. You're going to be able to pick up on things like tone change, body language, and everything else that goes along with those nonverbal communicative sort of things that people do. And again, that's a muscle that you exercise. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to feel. We also need to get more comfortable expressing ourselves, and I don't necessarily mean the way that you dress or the way that you talk about yourself. I mean just being comfortable existing in a social setting, being comfortable acknowledging the fact that you belong wherever it is that you feel like you want to be, whether that is just at your house or at a hobby that you want to go engage in, a new social group. If you come into that situation thinking to yourself, if I want to be here and I like being here, then that is where I belong, and I don't need to have that sort of imposter syndrome type behavior and thinking allow me to not enjoy this social setting. Okay, our spiritual quality of life. I know that this one can be a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to keep it really vague, okay? For me personally, this means just feeling a connection with the world around you and a connection with your inner self. So this is a lot about just how we perceive ourselves in relationship to the world around us and how we perceive ourselves internally. So a really good way that we can start this journey, this improvement of our spiritual life, is with meditation or a yoga practice, because it gives us the opportunity to slow down and be present. And being present really helps us feel more connected, not only to ourselves, to our bodies, to our brains, but also to where we are physically in the world. Some other really great ways to form that spiritual quality of life is creating a gratitude journal, or even just practicing gratitude on a day-to-day basis whenever you're out in the world, by going out in nature and spending some time alone or even with people out in nature, getting away from your house, getting away from technology, getting away from the screens, and just again being present and connected with the world around you, which I know sounds really woo-woo, but I promise that it really does make a difference. And the last tip that I have for spiritual quality of life growth is community involvement. And this can look like a lot of different things. However you feel like you can be more involved with your community, whether that's volunteering, whether it's getting a part-time job, local involvement with your government, local involvement with your community garden, or even going to council meetings and staying informed, going to more community events or getting to know your neighbors. You can start wherever you'd like, and however you feel like you want to be involved in your community, that is the right answer for you. Before we get on the topic of financial quality of life, I just want to say that I completely understand that everybody is in a really different place financially, and that everybody's finances look a lot different. Everybody's situation looks a lot different. So take all of this with a grain of salt and just do what works best for you. These are just my tips that have worked for me personally with my financial life and my personal state of being. So I am not telling you what to do. I am not a financial advisor. This is just what has worked for me. Financial quality of life can broadly be described as managing your finances intentionally and having your needs met. So if our needs are met and we're intentionally managing our finances, I would say that eventually your finances are going to inevitably get better as long as you're continuing to intentionally keep track of them. One way that we can do this is with budgeting. Budgeting allows us to have a set amount of money that goes into categories, your credit cards, your grocery bills, whatever it is that you put money towards, and it keeps us able to have a hold on where our money is going. It's also really useful to have an emergency fund. It doesn't have to be any certain amount, just whatever you can comfortably put away, and you can add to it over time. Having a plan and tracking your spending, I would say, are probably the most vital steps to financial quality of life, because if you don't have a plan, then chances are you're not really moving in one direction or the other, you're stagnating. So if you have a plan or a goal financially, how can you get to that goal? What does that goal look like? What steps can you take right now or over the course of the next few months to get to that goal? Whether it's saving, whether it's paying off some debt, or whether it's being able to make a purchase that you're trying to get to. Maybe right now for you, the best place to start is just by assessing your current situation. So maybe look at your statement and look at, where is my money going? How much am I spending on groceries on average every single week? What kind of subscriptions do I have? How much debt do I have? How much savings do I have? And just overall being cognizant of your current financial situation will really be just as beneficial as everything else that I've said about it. When we're talking about assessing and bettering our quality of life, we need to make sure that first and foremost, we're having an open mindset and are willing to change our habits and behaviors and our time allocation. If you don't have a growth mindset, it's going to be really difficult to make progress on any of these things. So make sure that step number one before anything else is that you are putting yourself in the headspace of, this can get better and I can make it better. Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian novelist, actually has a really great quote that I'm sure you've heard before that, in my opinion, kind of encompasses all of this really well, which is, one day or day one. You can either start now or you can start later, but time will pass either way. So thank you very much, and I truly hope that anything in this video was helpful, and I will see you next time.